The untamed West, legends weren't born. They were made in blood and fire. And none was more feared than the Bandit King, but his greatest heist wasn't gold. It was the heart of the Marshal's daughter. So the basic premise of the story is that the daughter of a famous marshal has been raised to be a badass and not some demure damsel. In fact, she's even better with a gun than most men. Now, enter the Bandit King, who is a charismatic outlaw. He's notorious for burning railroads, robbing banks, and leaving sheriffs dead in the dust. This guy is a legendary outlaw. He doesn't take crap from anybody. When he rides into town, everybody trembles, except for the marshal and his daughter, who don't really care about his reputation. And when the Bandit King lays eyes on the marshal's daughter, he decides that he wants her, and he'll stop at nothing to get her. Now the twist is that the daughter is completely unfazed by his proposal, and she gives him an offer that he cannot refuse. So let's get started. This is the legendary Marshal Donovan, the last line of law between the wild frontier and total chaos. He's seen too much death, too much destruction, and he's spent a lifetime trying to bring justice to every town he's ever patrolled. And now he's settled down in the small town of Redemption, where he hopes to finally catch a break. But if he only knew what was coming, maybe he wouldn't have stayed. Because as we said, wherever the Bandit King went, lawmen trembled, except for one. Ow. This is the Bandit King, the ruthless leader of a notorious gang of outlaws. He's wanted dead or alive in at least 10 states, and his name strikes fear into the hearts of law enforcement. He's handsome, he's charming, and he's got a cold, calculating stare that could freeze the blood in your veins. He's got a scar that runs down his face, and there are rumors abound about how he got it, but nobody knows for sure. And he travels with a crew of loyal outlaws who share his thirst for adventure and fortune. And then there's this, his signature black rose, a symbol of death and danger that he leaves behind to taunt the law. He isn't just a common criminal. He's an agent of chaos, a force of nature that leaves destruction in his wake. And when he sets his sights on something, he'll stop at nothing to get it. Now, they have history. They've met before, the Marshal and the Bandit King. It didn't end well for the Bandit King, and he hasn't forgotten it. And the Marshal definitely hasn't forgotten all of the bodies that he left behind after that last run-in. But now the Bandit King is back in town, looking for revenge and ready to make the Marshal pay for what he did to him all those years ago. Oh, and also he's looking for the one thing that he can't get enough of, the heart of the Marshal's daughter. So let's talk about the daughter. This is Clara Donovan, the Marshal's headstrong and independent daughter. She's got a fiery spirit and a quick draw with a pistol, and she's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in. She grew up listening to her father's stories of heroism and justice, and she idolizes him, but she also yearns to forge her own path in life. Now, she's not a typical frontier girl. She doesn't spend her days baking pies and mending fences. She spends her days hanging around the saloon, playing cards with the local boys and shooting tin cans with uncanny accuracy. She's got a sharp wit and a sarcastic sense of humor, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. In fact, she's downright ornery at times, which gets her into all sorts of scrapes. Now, she loves riding her horse, blaze through the dusty streets of Redemption. Feeling the wind whip through her hair and the sun warm on her skin, she feels free. She dreams of adventure and excitement, and she longs to break free from the confines of frontier society. But she's torn between her desire for freedom and her love for her father and her duty to help him uphold the law. So now, let's see how all of these characters collide in the ultimate showdown. The story begins in the small town of Redemption. Life is pretty peaceful until the Bandit King and his gang ride in and turn it upside down. The king immediately goes to the local saloon, and everybody in the place looks at him. They know who he is. He makes it clear that he's there to see the Marshal. The two have history, like we said, but it's been years since they've seen each other. Meanwhile, Clara is hanging out with some friends, shooting tin cans and having a good time when she hears about the Bandit King's arrival. She's intrigued and wants to check him out for herself. And when she does, she's captivated by his charm and charisma and danger. She feels a spark between them, and it's undeniable. The Bandit King, seeing her, realizes that he wants her. But she's not just any girl. She's the Marshal's daughter. And the Marshal is the one person he fears more than anyone else. So he tries to intimidate her, but she doesn't care, and this surprises him. He tries to win her over with promises of adventure and excitement, but she refuses to give in. The tension builds, and it becomes clear that the two are at a standstill. The Bandit King wants her, and he'll stop at nothing to get her, but she won't go with him. He has to respect that. But he still wants her, and he won't give up. As the story progresses, the Bandit King's presence in town causes chaos and destruction. The Marshal, bound by duty and honor, must confront the Bandit King and put an end to his reign of terror. But he knows it won't be easy. The Bandit King is a formidable opponent, not just because of his skills as a gunslinger, but because of his cunning and his ruthlessness. He's unpredictable, and he's dangerous, and he's got a crew of loyal outlaws with him that are just as deadly. But the Marshal isn't alone. He's got his daughter Clara by his side, and she's more than just a sidekick. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's a crack shot with a pistol, and she's got a brave heart, a quick mind. She's not afraid to stand up to her father when she thinks he's wrong. And she challenges him to see her as an equal, not just a daughter. As the story reaches its climax, the showdown between the Marshal and the Bandit King becomes inevitable. It's a battle of good versus evil, order versus chaos, and it's played out against the backdrop of a dying frontier.
White on. We're a crider. Creative. We are white. Quick. Tickle. White.
Bullets fly, gun smoke fills the air, and the fate of redemption hangs in the balance. In the end, it's a battle that will test the limits of their skills, their courage, and their loyalty. But it's also a battle that will change them forever. As we said, the showdown is inevitable. The story culminates in a high noon confrontation in the middle of the street. The Marshal and the Bandit King face off with pistols raised, ready to do battle. But it's Clara who holds the key to the outcome of the showdown. She's caught in the middle, torn between her love for the Bandit King and her loyalty to her father. She knows that whichever side she chooses, it will cost her dearly. And as the clock strikes noon, she has to make a decision. Does she side with the law and her father and protect the innocent townsfolk? Or does she follow her heart and join the Bandit King and live a life of adventure and excitement? Well, I'm here to tell you that Clara is no damsel in distress. She's a force to be reckoned with. And when the time comes, she makes a choice that shocks everyone. It's a choice that will change the course of the story and leave the audience cheering. So what are you waiting for? Are you ready to join the adventure? Well, buckle up, because this is going to be one heck of a ride. Don't miss out. Be there in the front row. You won't regret it, trust me. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Wild West. Until next time, keep your guns loaded and your hearts open.